Let's get into it.
What up, baby? All right. So, do you want to just run kind of like right through it?
Yeah, let's just talk through it a little bit.
Also,
See what we
I
got.
I put some videos in as well. So maybe we can like live react to them because like I
Okay.
don't know if you saw the one that I put on my story of Ben Affleck.
I don't think I did. Or maybe I did.
Mm,
Maybe I did.
that was a good one. He was talking about
Oh,
AI.
ChatGPT. Yeah, something
Yeah,
about
yeah.
yeah. Okay. That would be
So like
cool.
we could do like a live reaction to it almost. We could start it
Hmm.
off with that. Although I don't know if
Yeah.
YouTube's gonna like flag it.
Oh,
I don't
I
think they will.
mean, I don't think we have a big
Yeah,
enough.
yeah,
Yeah.
we're not trying to monetize it, right?
Right. No. All right. This is another email paid attention podcast,
Let's
and
go.
we've been missing for a while. We've been
Yeah, we've been
deep.
slacking.
I would say
Not slacking, just
slacking.
just busy.
Busy, dude.
Busy.
Busy. Yeah, a lot of client stuff, working out different offers, reaching out to and connecting with a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
I mean that's what I've been doing, connecting with a lot
Mm-hmm.
more business owners.
Yeah.
And yeah, dude, just getting the reach
Mm-hmm.
out there. That's what I've been up to, dude. What about
Yeah.
you?
Similar, dude. I've even actually had a couple people reach out to me about the podcast. I've also
Yeah,
just been plugging it in my daily life and conversations.
there you
Email
go.
paid attention, email paid attention, email paid attention,
Yeah,
email
just
paid.
dropping it here and there and there. Yep. I know I've been telling my kids about it, and now they every time we're at the store, they're just like, "Hey, you pay attention."
Oh yeah, you
And
got them running around for you?
yeah, dude, they're my little personal sales messengers, you
What's the
know.
percentage they get on that?
We got to work on it. It's
Yeah.
yeah, we're not really targeting the right audience, I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
Not nobody in the store or sorry, in the toy section really resonates with that. So I gotta have them shouting that in the underwears, bra maybe section. Cookware. The cookware section's good for that.
Uh, I love
But
it. I
anyways,
love it.
let's dive into it, dude.
Hmm.
We got a video to start us off
Yeah, so
here.
we got this video essentially from Ben Affleck on Joe Rogan talking
Hmm.
about AI specifically. And Ben is obviously writing a lot of his movies, like Good Will Hunting,
Hmm.
Oscar-winning movie, doing a lot of writing. And I
Yeah.
think honestly, I wasn't really in touch with what was going on in the I guess like cinema space with AI just because it's
Hmm.
totally different. Like I'm focused on marketing and
Right.
like only that, but I
Yeah.
never really thought to interpret
Hmm.
it into actual like how people are using it to write emails. I think I
Hmm.
mentioned maybe in a couple times on the podcast, even like back and forth, mentioning
Hmm.
how sometimes I can tell through a commercial of whether it's an AI script or not.
Dude,
Like I can
I
tell
think I
through the
can.
words, like
Yeah.
depending on certain commercials, but I never really thought of it through a
Scripting a
movie,
movie. Yeah.
yeah, and like how people are going about that and like how that
Hmm.
might transform,
Hmm.
actually going to see a movie from now on.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any, or I haven't been able to point out any like AI scripting in any movie I've
Hmm.
watched recently, but who knows? Maybe it's coming. So
Yeah.
yeah, we'll watch the video and I guess we can do like kind of like a live reaction to it, just
Yeah.
like thoughts on it and actually like trying to relate it back to the
For sure.
marketing scene and like where we see it in the daily
Hmm.
I guess w where we're incorporating it in our thoughts and comparing it to. So I guess we'll
Hmm.
watch the video.
What I see is, like, for example, if you try to get ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini to write you something, it's really shitty. And it's shitty because
Factual.
Dude,
See, but
well,
people
perfectly
don't
said.
people don't notice that. Like he'll say it more throughout the video, but like people
Hmm.
don't notice that if you're not really using it in a I guess like professional way. Like the people are
Hmm.
using it for work or LinkedIn or
Hmm.
whatever. But like when you actually break it down to something, from
Hmm.
our perspective, from like a marketing perspective, if you tell ChatGPT or Claude or whatever to write you direct response marketing email
Hmm.
compared to and you put it side by side with like someone who's actually good at doing that, like someone like
Hmm.
something that you and I would write,
Yeah.
it's like night and day difference.
Oh,
And
dude.
like
Yeah.
people, we constantly hear like how similar people think this is, but it's
Hmm.
it's really not at that level yet.
Yeah. There's a level of also. where you will start to get a good understanding of what good copy sounds like as well is when you start looking at all the old mail, direct mail copy.
Hmm.
It sounds nothing like what you would get from a ChatGPT
Hmm.
prompt response, like night and day difference. So yeah, totally
Hmm.
right. I want to hear what he has to
Yeah,
say
yeah.
here.
Because by its nature, it goes to the mean, to the average, and it's not reliable. And it's, I mean, I just can't stand to see what it writes. Now, it's a useful tool if you're a writer and you're going, what's the thing? I'm trying to set something up, or somebody sends someone a letter, but it's delayed 2 days and it can give you some examples of that. I actually
Yeah.
Hmm.
So I don't know like what he was trying to specifically say with the letter, but I feel like, from a marketing standpoint, if you are going to use it, like when it first came out, there was this kind of idea around like it's not
Hmm.
going to replace
Hmm.
marketing or writing your emails. It's just going to enhance the
Yeah.
person that does that already. And I
Yeah,
feel like
exactly.
that's, if we're using AI, I think you and I both are just completely trying
Hmm.
to steer away from it as much as possible, just to
Hmm.
rely on ourselves for that. Because
Hmm.
I've talked about this a couple times where this ideation and coming up with your own idea is
Hmm.
eventually a skill at the end of the day.
100%.
Like
Yeah.
the more you tap into that, the
Hmm.
more you practice that of like coming up with ideas, the more you'll see it throughout in your own life. So I feel like
100%.
if you can go to something like ChatGPT or
Hmm.
Claude to kind of create an angle for yourself from a marketing perspective,
Hmm.
but it's just going to result in you having to do that over and over and over again compared
Yeah.
to, maybe taking a little more time for a week or so and then naturally, like we always talk about in the last episodes, it's
Hmm.
like boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
We just like pull them out of thin air, like our notes app, boom, boom, boom,
Exactly.
boom.
Yeah.
Um,
And to
so I
add
think
to
that's what
that,
he's kind of referencing there, but
yeah, I do see a lot of business owners that I talk to, like when it's time to come up with some angle or something, like they don't have that. Like they're going to ChatGPT and
hmm,
they're asking it
hmm,
pretty much just to do everything for them. And
yeah,
like, we know what happens. It's gonna start sounding repetitive. Nothing's gonna be
hmm,
really original, and there's
hmm,
there's just no kind of like spark to it. And I
hmm,
feel like that's the difference between when you just start doing that process yourself.
hmm,
I don't know kind of like how like woo woo or how like I don't even know how to go with how to say this,
hmm,
but like the energy, like I feel like there's actually something to that. I think I mentioned that
hmm,
before. Like there's just
yeah,
something about being original that is always going to be like
yeah, tapping
this
into that creative.
manufacturer, just like yeah, exactly. It's just like tapping into the
Hmm,
art of creativity, which
hmm,
it's important to have. You still want to make sure you're dialing in on direct response and like making sure your message is getting someone from this belief to wanting to get your product or buy your service.
hmm,
But I think creativity is something that, you can't really use a machine for.
yeah.
But you can use it to enhance it. So,
Hmm.
yeah.
Another point too, like I think people who are maybe worried about putting out, something we've talked about before, putting out that perfect content, that
Hmm.
perfect writing or whatever. I feel like the overall market or people who are listening to content in general, we're seeing this switch from like
Hmm.
or the hyper creative thumbnail post clickbait
Hmm.
titles is so saturated at this point, and
Hmm.
everyone is switching to like a modern day, very
Hmm.
casual standpoint, anyways, where there's mistakes, it's not
Hmm.
perfect, like there's a human element to it, and it's solely
Hmm.
because everyone's been relying on AI for so long, and it's just
Yeah.
becoming saturated.
I've been seeing that
Um,
pattern on YouTube thumbnails, like you were
yeah,
saying. It's
specifically YouTube is starting.
it's like the thumbnail is literally just like one of the frames from the video,
Hmm.
and it's like lower caps, like I
Yep.
quit. And
Yep.
it's not like how to 10x your business. It's just like
Hmm.
I quit and I didn't think
Hmm.
I'd do this, but I
Hmm.
did. It's
Yeah.
like what? And
Yeah.
then those are
There's a
popping off.
difference in the wording. There's a
Hmm.
difference in the wording too. Like it's
Hmm.
like people aren't people don't want to make 100K in like their first month or whatever.
Hmm.
I mean they do, but they know it's not a realistic goal. Like people want to
Yeah.
know the elements of like what you actually have to go into saying in that
Hmm.
YouTube video or like just
Hmm.
I'm just speaking in reference to these like hyper clickbait,
Hmm.
YouTube videos. Like people are going back to a normal casual storytelling style.
Yeah, I
Um,
love that. I like that we're
so
doing that too.
yeah, yeah.
don't think it's very likely that it's going to be able to write anything meaningful, and in particular, that it's going to be making movies like from whole cloth, like Tilly Norwood. Like that's bullshit. I don't think that's going
Hmm.
to happen. I think it's not. I think it turns out the technology is not progressing in exactly the same way they sort of presented it. And really, what it is going to be a tool, just like sort of visual effects. And yeah, it needs to have language around it. You need to protect your name and likeness. You can do that. You can watermark it. Those laws already exist. You can't. I can't sell your fucking picture for money. I can't. You can sue me. Period. It kind of feels to me like the thing we were talking about earlier, where there's a lot more fear because we have the sense this existential dread. It's going to wipe everything out.
Right.
Mhm.
But that actually runs counter, in my view, to what history seems to show, which is adoption is slow, it's incremental. I think a lot of that rhetoric comes from people who are trying to justify valuations around companies where they go, we're going to change everything. In 2 years, there's going to be no more work. Well, the reason they're saying that is because they need to ascribe a valuation for investment that can warrant the capex spend they're going to make on these data centers with the argument that, like,
I think people miss that. Like
Yeah.
because I've seen this the CEOs of like AI, et cetera, whatever,
Hmm.
they're almost relying on us to get behind the movement. Like
Oh yeah.
they
A
need us
wave.
for the movement
Hmm.
to actually like excel. And
Yeah.
like I think some people might miss that when it goes to actually, you know, implementing it, that they're like relying on us to actually use it and be supportive of it. Like I think
Yeah.
the Nvidia CEO came out and said something along the lines of like, stop commenting like AI slop on Instagram posts or whatever it was,
Uh-huh.
and stop kind of like bashing AI in the first place. Like it does no good for the tool that it is. And like I think the majority of people, because I originally found this video on Twitter and like everyone was agreeing, like
Hmm.
I think we're just seeing this like this backwards kind
Hmm.
of trend where it's just like, all right, we've gotten the hyper-saturated clickbait stuff with AI and we're
Hmm.
moving slowly back to like what is actually
What actually works again.
exactly.
Yeah. Dude, it's crazy. I remember just full videos on or full ad YouTube videos. And they were like just you could tell it's like this fake person.
Hmm.
And he's like, my car accident and I just got paid $1,200 thanks to this, thanks to this
Hmm.
secret, whatever. Don't they're only having this up for the next 3 days, so you got to act now. And they're pretty
Dude,
fun.
people
I
are
would
almost
I would watch
using it.
them. I would watch them just because they're like so like engaging because they're funny.
Hmm.
But it's like,
Yeah.
dude, it's crazy. Like if you're actually buying from these ads, it's like I don't know. You're kind of I'm worried about
Hmm.
you for a little.
Yeah. They're tapping into the actual extreme of it.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, let's see
Gosh.
what else.
oh, as soon as we do the next model, it's going to scale up and be 3 times as good. Except that actually ChatGPT 5 about 25% better than ChatGPT 4 and costs about 4 times as much in the way of electricity and data. So those when they say that's like plateauing, the early AI, the line went up very steeply and it's now sort of leveling off. I think it's because, and yes, it'll get better, but it's going to be really expensive to get better. And a lot of people were like, fuck this, we want ChatGPT 4, because it turned out like the vast majority of people who use AI are using it to like as like companion bots to chat with at night. So there's no work, there's no productivity, there's no value to it. I would argue there's also not a lot of social value to getting people to like focus on an AI friend who's, telling you that you're great and listening to everything you say and being sycophantic. But that's sort of a side issue. I think for this particular purpose, like the way I see the technology and what it's good at and what it's not, it's going to be good at filling in all the places that are expensive and burdensome and they make it harder to do it. And it's always going to rely fundamentally on the human artistic aspects of it.
There you go.
Totally.
What I see
100%.
is like,
Dude,
I
it's so
am.
funny to see the people. I've seen some news stories of the lady in China getting married to her phone. It's like a little AI character that she made, and it understands me. It's funny because you talk to, AI, a ChatGPT bot or whatever,
Mhm.
and it's just like,
Yeah.
yeah, you're right, and it kind of just always goes with the answer you want to hear. I think everybody
Yeah.
has that
Yeah.
has seen that experience or has gone through that and
Yeah.
has noticed it just always is on your side, and it just it never really corrects you, it's just always
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't, yeah. It's funny though to see all that. It's crazy, man. Oh God.
I don't do that, bro. I don't go back and forth with AI. I don't want to give anything to it.
No.
Like the amount of people that are just that's a whole side topic essentially.
Yeah, that's a
But
side topic
another
for
thing I
sure.
wanted to say too, like just when it comes to using just when it comes to using AI for like specifically marketing, posts,
Hmm.
emails, whatever, you know, obviously AI over the next 5 years is going to get a lot better. Like there's no denying that. But even if it
Hmm.
gets to the point where, you can essentially just take it from, hey, write me this and then plug it, that becomes the new standard. Everyone
Hmm.
uses that. So a there'll still be a need for you to create a distinction
Hmm.
against other people because that's what we're seeing now, right? And
Hmm.
why the stuff like YouTube is starting to transform back into this normal state. It's because
Hmm.
everyone's doing the same thing. Everyone's getting the same outputs. Everyone's getting the same prompts.
Hmm.
Eventually, if we get to if it comes to the point where you can just copy and paste it and put it in an email, that's just
Hmm.
becoming a new standard. You're still going to have to go in there and create it and differentiate from everyone else who's
Differentiate.
doing the same thing.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah. I think that's always what you want to do anyways. It's differentiate yourself from
mhm.
everything. At the
Yeah.
end of the day, you have to realize it's not just like the email platform itself. It's not only the YouTube that you're going up against or the Instagram content. Like it's all of it put together. And it's if you're just able to lean into the things that make you unique and different and lean into
Hmm.
the things that just from a service standpoint and like what you help others do that's different than what everyone else does, like just
Hmm.
keep leaning into that.
Yeah.
Keep doing that. And I think that's ultimately what that's what's gonna lead into the best results for all your marketing efforts. It's just,
Hmm.
you know,
What makes you
standing
unique?
out. What makes you,
Yeah.
yeah,
I actually just saw real quick, and then we can move on to the next topic here. I just saw a client send me a post of Chris Bumstead. You know Chris Bumstead, right?
I don't.
He's the bodybuilder world champion.
Okay.
And he's a social media guy. He's really outspoken
Hmm.
on social media and everything. And he was talking about how he like takes his thoughts and then sometimes plugs it into AI.
Oh yeah.
And he was like, you know what, I'm not going to do that. Like I want to build up that skill. And he just
Hmm.
created a newsletter and he linked people to it on his Instagram. And
Hmm.
he was like, this newsletter is not going to be perfect, but it's going to be my real thoughts. And
Yeah.
it's just going to be unique. I mean, that alone allows
Hmm.
him to stand out. It's polarizing in a sort of certain way where
Hmm.
everyone's doing this one thing and he's like, hey, you know what? This newsletter is going to kind of suck when it comes to writing, but at least
Yeah,
you'll know it'd be my real thoughts.
for sure.
So
That
I
makes me want to
like,
go sign up for that because I feel like
yeah,
everything I'm
exactly,
signing up
dude.
for these days, even when I'm just
Hmm.
doing research for a prospect I want to hit up
Hmm.
for some work,
Yeah.
I see that they're using it and it's just like it just doesn't there's nothing different about it.
Hmm.
And that's what's costing them. But yeah,
Yeah.
I want to look into that. What's his name again?
Yeah. Chris Bumstead. You'll probably know him when you
I
look
think
him
I've
up. He's
yeah.
And then too, like I think a question that may arise for somebody watching this, like, well, if they're having real thoughts, like what are you essentially doing for clients? Like what's our role there?
Mhm.
And that's what essentially Diego and I are in place to do. Like we try to pull the realness out of our clients, like
Mhm.
on the weekly calls that we have, the conversations that we're having throughout anything, essentially. We're not necessarily looking for the big story. We're looking for the underlying story, the very unique thing, the
Mhm.
thing that people are going to resonate with the most. That's what we're after, and that's essentially what we try to pull out of you and just put into writing. So, because we understand that. Like, I think it's very
Mhm.
easy for us to just go back and forth on this of like, okay, like we
Mhm.
really want to have these like weird and unique stories that maybe you wouldn't put out to the you know no, you'd be willing to share with the public, but it's just something people can relate with.
Yeah.
That's what we try to create through our clients' emails. So,
Mhm.
um,
I think for me, it's first getting them to realize that those things are so important
mhm,
more than they think because
yeah,
it's like, why would I want to talk about that? Why would I
hmm,
want to talk about the time I threw up, coming back home after that rager when I was 18 years old. Why
Yes.
would I want to talk about that? Nobody
Hmm.
really, that doesn't really relate. But it doesn't relate to your offer, maybe, yeah.
Hmm.
But it totally relates to just
Yeah.
everyone else that maybe made a really dumb decision when they were younger. And, everybody has
Hmm.
regrets on some, to a level.
Yes.
And so that's what is so powerful about those stories. And yeah, that's essentially if you're able to have somebody in your corner who can help extract those out of you,
Extract that.
yeah, like you're in a really well spot in 2026. And I'm gonna just say like from here on out,
Hmm.
maybe back a couple years, it was more so just being able to show that you're very, knowledgeable in your space, in your industry. Like all you
Yeah.
have to do is like, yeah, I can get you this result and that's it. But I
Hmm.
feel like now there's just an influx of information, an influx of experts that, you can't go anywhere without seeing like, hey, this guy's a fitness expert too. And
Hmm.
it's like there's, especially the fitness industry, that
Hmm.
is a space that is beyond saturated. And
Hmm.
so how are you going to differentiate yourself? Well, it's
Yeah.
not going to be through, oh, I mean, it could be like this specific way of lifting, but at the end of the day, everyone has their own little
Hmm.
unique way of lifting. Now they're looking further. Now they're looking at who can I relate to the most?
Relate
Who
with.
can
Yeah.
who can I
Exactly.
who's the person I just want to hear from
Hmm.
consistently? And at the end of the day, that's how I think about it. Like I want to
Hmm.
make sure that as you're the expert and you're being seen as somebody who that potential customer wants to hang out with and like
Hmm.
wants them in their corner. And yeah,
Hmm.
and then
Yeah.
we're really I mean, I protect who I have in my circle. I'm not just gonna let
Hmm.
anybody with just, I mean, even if they're really smart or really good at what they
Hmm.
do, if I don't like the way they,
Their
what
vibe.
their values, their vibe, like if I don't really connect, resonate with that kind of stuff, or
Hmm.
there's something off about that person, I don't really want them in my circle.
Yeah.
I want
Totally.
people who just have the same message to share that I do.
Hmm.
And, at the end of the day, that's why, again, if you're able to tell more stories and spread your message, whatever that message is out there more consistently,
Hmm.
you're just gonna bring in more people that want to be in your corner. Yeah,
Totally
I went
agree.
crazy with that one, but it's just the way it is. 2026, it's not really,
It's a word.
it's not, so like 2026, I'd say is if you're a personal brand, like you just
Hmm.
have to lean into that. If you're not,
Yeah. The
there's
authenticity aspect.
yeah, you're just gonna be you're honestly gonna be behind a little bit because there are
Hmm.
other people that are doing that.
Hmm.
And I would even say like if you can do live events like at that, just bringing back more things that you can do with
Totally.
people in person is
Hmm.
going to be like something that I think more people should focus
Hmm.
on.
Yeah.
Currently, I don't have any clients that are working on too much live in-person things,
Hmm.
but that has been like an idea I've shared.
Mm.
You
Yeah.
you you have a client that does that. Maybe.
Dude, it's totally next level just to
Mhm,
either be a part of that or just see it taking place. It's just
mhm,
it, I think people are really buying the as you were saying, they're buying the story behind the person before they buy your product, service, offer. That's why it's
mhm,
so important to include and like
mhm.
seeing that kind of full circle come in through stuff like, the events in person, et cetera,
Right.
is really cool because it's at the end of the day, it's all people that are
Mhm,
relating with the original story that you put out.
mhm.
Another thing too that I thought of while kind of you were on your spiel there
Yeah.
is like I think like dude, almost like 2 years ago, I got put onto this idea of
Mhm,
like frequency in marketing. And like this is
mhm,
something we've talked about a lot.
mhm,
And kind of I want to talk about why making yourself unique and just kind of telling your story is important if
mhm,
you're not at the point where you're sending consistent emails or you're not posting on Instagram regularly or you're doing it maybe 2 or 3 times a week or
mhm,
1 time a week essentially, if you're not finding a way to distinguish yourself against your competitors
mhm,
and people kind of see you very similar to somebody else in the market, you're warming them up for them.
mhm.
This idea
100%.
around frequency where it's just like if
Mhm,
they see you 3 times in a week and then they see somebody else 7 times, boom, 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 boom,
Yeah.
every time they see you, you're adding to that person because they see you more,
Yeah.
essentially.
And
And it's just
especially
like,
if you're only going at the angle of like value, and let's say they're
hmm
also kind of talking about the same thing,
exactly.
it's like there's nothing that really
hmm
starts stacking favors in your, and
hmm
for you,
Yeah.
that I've never thought about it like that, but that's a really, I think, true in
Yeah.
today's world. Yeah.
Another thing I think of too, like when it comes to telling story, uniqueness, whatever, people are always going to go to who they know first. So if
Hmm.
you're, I guess like someone like a car salesman or whatever,
That's
whatever
true.
niche, whatever business, like if you're not pumping out, the content, whatever, at a very high level, almost to the point where you're every day
Hmm.
repetitively putting yourself out there and making yourself unique and having a story that people can relate with, they're
Hmm.
going to go to the person that they know as well. You're still warming them up for that other person. That's
Hmm.
why it's so important, this idea of another idea I wanted to touch on is proximity.
Hmm.
I actually heard from Ben Settle
Hmm.
talking about recently this whole idea of proximity and kind of a story there. Maybe we can shoot back and forth on this, Diego.
Hmm.
I want to see your, I don't know if you've already seen what I put in the doc, but like when you think of like most popular commercials of all time. Like what's first thing that comes into your mind?
The Kia, like the hamsters.
The
Remember that?
hamsters.
Like
Which
during
one
the
of
Super
those?
Bowl?
Oh yeah, like cars,
The
cars.
car ones, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
cars. Obviously there's like a lot of those ones.
yeah.
Doritos, so like chips.
Hmm.
Um, I think about like those health brands like that kind of at the end they'll always have like a speed
Hmm.
side effects may include and it's always like a very
Yeah.
happy older person in the sunset or walking.
Yeah.
I think about those ones. What are you thinking about?
This may cause death.
Which,
Uh,
which ones?
those, how at the end where they're like saying off all the warnings and it's just
Oh
like
yeah, yeah,
this medicine may cause heart attack, stroke,
right, right.
death. And you're like, what? What's going on?
Yeah.
One thing I think for me, uh, one thing that I think about, I think I have a set of like favorite commercials. Like I think of like Liam Neeson with the Clash of Clans one
Oh, okay.
in
Yeah,
Super Bowl. But I
yeah.
also think of like the ones reoccurring, like when I think of an actual commercial, I think of,
Hmm.
Geico, Progressive,
Geico, that's it.
Liberty, Doug
Yeah.
and Limo, Emu,
State
like
Farm,
those,
that's a good
State
one.
Farm, Jake with State Farm, like
Jake.
those is an example of proximity because although
Hmm.
they don't have like the one-off script, like the home run script,
Right.
that just really resonated with people,
Hmm.
they're spending like the insurance industry is spending $6 to $8 billion a year on advertisements, which
Yeah,
means that each one of these companies is having like 100 to
mm,
200 commercials per day on
that's
average.
insane.
So all of this is just getting baked in our head
Yeah.
because we see it so
Hmm.
much. And like how many people know the Geico, they know Flo from Progressive,
Hmm.
they know Doug and the Emu, and they
Yeah,
they know Jake from State Farm. Like every single
right.
person could be able to
Everyone
name
does.
those people, even more than like certain celebrities. And that's all because of
Yeah.
the proximity and like the just playing it over and over and over and over and
Well,
over
now
again.
these days, what I'm seeing a lot is Prize Picks, all the
Hmm.
gambling, and then
Yeah.
there's like all the celebrities there. LeBron,
Hmm.
sometimes it's Kevin Hart,
Yeah.
and then yeah, I mean, you see these people in the movies and or on TV on the
Hmm.
basketball court, then you're seeing them on all these commercials. It definitely like what that makes me think about too is that there's there's an equal importance, a need for direct response copy, like something that
Hmm.
you put out there and you need to get a good response
Hmm.
for it to be, profitable. But at the
Hmm.
same time, I think what we're shifting to is with Instagram especially and just
Yeah.
content, it's like the proximity just showing up every single
Yeah.
day
Hmm.
that's also just as
Hmm.
important as having a piece. Now, I think what the winning formula is
Consistency.
consistency, like on the front end, having all these
Hmm.
posts every single day and always talking about your offer
Hmm.
because, at the end of the day, you're not putting out your offer, you're not helping as many people as you could be.
Hmm.
And, if that's not your goal with your business, well then okay, you don't really need to be
Yeah.
advertising in the first place.
Hmm.
But if it is your goal to be increasing your revenue, but also impacting more people through your
Hmm.
offer,
Daily.
like you have to be talking about your offer. So
Totally.
on the front end, it's that, but then it's also on the back end, making sure you have everything rooted in direct response, making sure you
Hmm.
have like let's say a landing page or a VSL or some kind of
Hmm.
funnel with direct response principles all, throughout the whole thing
Hmm.
that gets somebody from I'm very interested in this to
Hmm.
bang, let me read my credit card number out loud, or let me insert my credit card number into this form here and then get in on this offer.
I agree. Let's go back even more though. Like before
Hmm
we look at, VSL, email, everything to do with direct response, like
hmm
what is I guess the first thing we look at like when we go into somebody's business?
First thing I look at,
Hmm.
I, pedaling way back, I think
Hmm.
it's just looking at the offer.
Yep.
Is it
That's exactly
something
what I'm talking
that,
about.
yeah, is it something that people are buying? Is it
Hmm.
something, is it something positioned properly for your ideal target market?
Hmm.
That's the first place to go into, I'd say.
Hmm. Yeah. So one thing, perfect segue, because one thing I wanted to talk about here, and like Diego and I see doing really well in the actual direct response, or just like marketing in general, is
Hmm
kind of creating a no-brainer offer for yourself. So
Yeah.
if you're at a point where you're kind of like wishy-washy, you're not seeing too many sales. It could be a multiple different things. Like maybe you're just talking to
hmm
the wrong person, attracting the wrong person. But
hmm
another thing too is like it all stems back to kind of what you're promoting and what your offer is in the first place. If you can
Exactly.
create that kind of no-brainer offer for someone that kind
hmm
of gets them 50% of the way there the second they see it,
Yeah.
that's going to do a lot from a
Oh, yeah.
direct response
hmm
perspective. So I don't know if you like do you have any in mind that is just kind of like a almost like no-brainer offer with clients you've worked with or you've kind of worked to create with?
I mean, I remember seeing this just again, this in my mind with the prize picks thing. It was
Hmm.
like your first month, I'm gonna have to look it up,
Yes,
but
dude, they do a great
they
job of
have a
that.
really, they do a great job with positioning their offers and then
Hmm.
making it like, oh my God, if I just get in and I get free money at this point,
Hmm.
how
Exactly.
effortless is it for somebody to
Hmm.
just get in on that? I think
Hmm.
that obviously I don't stand behind the whole gambling
Yeah,
thing,
yeah.
but if you do have some product that's like genuinely going to help somebody,
Hmm.
not make them fall into addiction, but
Hmm.
like gambling addiction. But if you do have something like study those brands, I think
Hmm. Yeah.
you had one in the doc here,
Yeah,
worth.
so I just pulled one too. Like I think the prize picks and just like the
Mhm,
as bad as it is, like they're incredibly good at creating no-brainer offers. Like
100%.
literally making it to like what is it? Like, you put in $10 and you get like $500 of free play or whatever. Like you
Yeah.
said, you're getting free money. That's what you call a no-brainer offer. As
Yeah.
bad as it is, like they're promoting gambling, but like
hmm
study that and how can you incorporate that for, serving your own clients with an actual
hmm
good offer that's going to do good for the world.
hmm
Yeah, the one I pulled was the AG1, which is the
AG1.
the supplement brand. AG1, I think they're doing like 1 million a day at this point.
Yeah,
And
big brand.
essentially,
I see them on podcasts and all that too.
yeah, dude,
Yeah.
they're everywhere. So it's speaking to that proximity, the consistency, just showing up daily, like we were just talking about. But also too, like I actually bought this supplement way back because they had like this some type of no-brainer offer. So when you pay for the
hmm
first month, I think it's like 80, $90 for a supplement, a daily supplement with everything in there. You
Everything.
also are getting, you know, the one thing that's isn't in there, you get like vitamin D. They give that for free, and then
hmm
they're giving you a water jug and like all this other stuff and a
hmm
guarantee, get your money back. That's kind of where the guarantee stems from in the first place, creating a
Right.
no-brainer offer.
Right.
So I just scrolled, and now they're offering like an AG1 bag and like all this other stuff, a scooper, a 30-day supply, electrolytes on top of it. It's like I think at this point there's probably one that's like popped into your head where it's just like, okay, the second you see it, you almost are like, oh, this is stupid to almost not buy.
Right.
Take that, whatever that is in your head, and try and replicate that with your own
hmm
offer, because that's
hmm
going to do really good from a direct response,
Yeah.
direct response standpoint. And it doesn't always have to mean that you're you're doing that 24/7 within your business. Like maybe
Right.
this just comes up as like a sale or you have rotating
Hmm.
offers. Like
Hmm.
see how you can work in a no-brainer offer where it's just
Hmm.
like the person looks at it and then you kind of make them think, oh, yeah, it would be silly if I didn't move
If I
forward with
didn't,
this.
yeah, if I didn't buy this,
Exactly.
I'd be
Yeah.
a
So
dummy. I think
exactly.
something also important is you may already have, like in your mind, you may be looking at your offer and saying, well, of course, this is like something really good. Why aren't, but still, why aren't people, more people intrigued by it and getting in there? At that
Hmm.
point, I think it's just looking at how you're presenting your offer, how are you
Hmm.
positioning it, and looking at the like individual things that you are including in your thing and just
Hmm.
making them more visible and then making the why this is beneficial for somebody to, of those individual things. So I'm just thinking sometimes in like let's say a fitness offer, you get not only like a program, you
Hmm.
also get, like the one-on-one calls, and then
Hmm.
you get, the accountability and a group, you get put into a group or something like that. Well, now it's time to like bring those out more and like make that value just seem as valuable as it is. I don't know how to
Hmm.
say that, but like just
Yeah.
bring it out there, just put it out there. Sometimes you're just not putting it out there, and
Hmm.
that's the simple thing that you could do immediately
Yeah.
and start seeing more results, more people see the offer in the first place and be like, okay, I really
Hmm.
want to jump in on this one.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a problem. I don't think the big companies already banging out like $1 million years and months have.
Hmm.
I think this is more for the business owners who are a little bit smaller and
Hmm.
they just don't know that, okay, maybe I'm not really putting everything about my offer out there.
Hmm.
And don't worry about long copy either. I think sometimes
Hmm.
you start getting worried, oh, this is just like too much that I'm putting out there. It's like,
Hmm.
no, people need that. People need to see
Yeah.
everything. And it's like I've heard the saying, the more you tell, the more you sell.
Hmm.
I think that's like a double-edged sword almost, but you have to just be saying the right things, obviously. Like that's why if you're just rambling about nonsense,
Whatever.
then
Yeah.
it might not really
People
be
start to go
benefit.
against you.
It's going to go against you. People are going to drop off. But
Hmm.
if you're just nailing on things that people care about and showing them
Hmm.
that your entire offer has all these little aspects, just that's what you need to bring up.
Mm.
Yeah, that's just something top of mind that I'm seeing some people could do a lot better with, some businesses.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
it's this very simple thing to just analyze your offer and do.
Hmm.
Um,
That's it.
what
And
else?
it's
Yeah.
good that we're like transitioning back to it goes back to what we were talking about in the beginning, kind of transitioning back to this authentic market in a world full of AI and,
Hmm.
overcooked memes and all this stuff
Yeah.
and in general and just whatever it is. Like people want to see the real stuff. And
Yeah.
if you can almost I, it's just sit down, and write, sit down and record a video, sit down and do what? Like we have like a couple points on our doc, but
Hmm.
it's not like we're really, going word for word here in terms
No.
of like spitting out a full script on an hour and a half video podcast. Like we're just
Yeah.
shooting the shit essentially.
I'm shooting the shit all
Uh,
the time, dude. That's how I live my life.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just like that's the approach you can take to it. And if you're stuck in that point, like another thing I guess we can segue into here
Hmm.
is is just research in general.
Hmm.
Like I think the I feel like for me, I'll speak on this and then maybe you can share your thoughts. It's like
Hmm.
I feel like I'm not almost in the copywriting marketing game. Like
Hmm.
that's not the game that I play.
Hmm.
I'm in the research game.
Hmm.
If I can know something about a specific audience, a target audience, or whatever whatever audience the client is trying to approach,
Hmm.
that's what I want to know. That's what I
Yeah.
want to find out. I'd
Hmm.
rather spend 7 hours researching an
Hmm.
audience, a topic, a product, a service, an offer,
Hmm.
than 7 hours writing copy or figuring out
Yeah.
marketing for whatever that is. The
Hmm.
research wins every single
It's
time,
that
bro.
80/20 there.
Yeah.
80/20 with research. The rest of it is just writing. It almost comes out
Hmm.
naturally when you've
If you have
done,
the
if
research.
you've had all the research and you really did the
Hmm.
research, properly from understanding
Hmm.
your customer and then also understanding at a deep level again to your back to the offer. If you're able
Hmm.
to actually put together a really compelling argument on why that person would get this result and why they need to buy
Hmm.
this your thing, that's more than
Yeah.
half the battle.
It is
Yeah,
it is 100% the research. Like
right.
you need to nail that in all the way. This is
Yeah,
like I always think back to like I always find it funny like when I onboard new clients and they're like, all right, let's go. Like I'm pumped to get started. Like, let's
yeah.
go. Like, what are we doing? Like, how many emails we sending out this week? And then they're just like, no, no, we're like maybe
Pause,
we'll send
bro.
out an email this week.
Yeah.
But and it's not like we don't charge for like when we're not sending emails. Like I
Hmm.
usually start it whenever the first email goes out. But
Hmm.
that whole like 1 week, 2 week, if it's a VSL, sometimes even a month,
Hmm.
is literally just spent on research, back and
Research.
forth. Diego and I calling
Hmm.
clients of our clients, trying to figure out what's worked, what's not worked, what are they
Right.
buying in their market, what are they not buying, like what are they
Hmm.
attracted to, what do they need, what do they not need, and it
Hmm.
all goes back to the research. Like literally every single thing that we
Hmm.
think would be useful for the offer,
Hmm.
and like from a research standpoint, uh, like the most valuable things I've been leaning into and tapping into recently is Reddit. Like
Dude,
Reddit
that's a
is
mine.
Reddit is
Uh,
Cope City,
oh
dude.
my
Reddit
God.
is Cope City. People go to Reddit to cope about their feelings and resonate with other
Yeah.
people around
Everything's on Reddit, bro. Every
whatever it is.
situation, anything imaginable, dude. Everybody, someone in this world, in this
Yeah.
massive world of how many billion people there are,
Hmm.
there is somebody who has typed something
Hmm.
on Reddit about anything you search, and it's crazy.
Exactly.
Um,
And this is the importance of like I think it's easier for Diego and I to sit here and say like, oh, we only want to work for offers that um, provide good to the world or do
mhm.
good for the world. And it's essentially because people go to these, depths to get information about you. Like
Yeah.
we don't want to serve someone who has an offer, service, product that
Hmm.
isn't pushing someone forward in the world or isn't
Hmm.
for their own good.
Yeah.
So that's why we're really specific about like who we want to
Yeah.
essentially serve within, our
100%.
own businesses.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Reddit is great and
I
just
want to tie something into the whole Reddit,
mhm,
like doing the research, going crazy in the trenches, right? Reddit,
yeah,
even Facebook comments. Sometimes there's
yeah,
like very
Facebook
specific
groups.
Facebook groups, and then you just go into the comments.
Hmm.
Like these are that's the extent
Hmm.
as where you should go to find the best
Hmm.
material for research. But these days, oh, just go to ChatGPT and say, hey, put together a research doc or something. Put together something for my marketing team so that we're all on the same
Hmm.
page with marketing. You know, yeah, you're gonna be getting the obvious, like, okay, yeah, if you're into fitness, okay, women are overweight, they're sad
Hmm.
about this, they're frustrated
Hmm.
because they haven't been able to get sustainable long-term results.
Now
You're gonna
Ozempic is
get,
here. They're not sure what they should do.
yeah, you're gonna get the kind of like the surface level
Hmm.
marketing. And again, if you think about AI, it's just like the baseline for everybody. If everyone's using it too, like you're just kind
Hmm.
of talking about the same things that everyone's talking about. But the moment you start tapping into that deep, 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 deep research,
Yeah.
again, that's another thing that's going to help you massively stand out. Not only that,
Hmm.
but you're going to be talking to them a lot more directly. Yes,
Hmm.
the AI thing is going to help you. I like call out, hey, if you're a 40-year-old dad who's struggling with the dad bod, of course you're going to still be able to call them out.
Hmm.
But a lot of times it's, those other subtleties that you'll find like in just their thinking that
Hmm.
you being able to put that through in copy and in a video,
Hmm.
it's just like then
Yeah.
you're hitting them at a different, deeper level.
Hmm.
And I think a lot of people just overlook that. Business owners overlook that part of the
Totally.
process.
Totally.
Um, they, like you said, they just want to hit the ground and go. But
Go
yeah,
and go and go.
I take like either sometimes up to 2 full weeks of research
Yeah.
because it's just that important,
Totally.
There's no point of me going on to write all these emails
You don't
and
have it.
then and if I don't have the research, it's just like I'm kind of shooting in the dark. I may be able to pull in some sales just because I already know how to
Hmm.
write the
Yeah, if you
emails or
already
how
know
to
the market.
you already know the market, but still
Yeah.
you're gonna be missing out on a lot of very
Everything. Like
juicy.
it's the
Yeah,
stories. And you know what we should do
yeah.
here? I actually remember writing a LinkedIn post on this a while ago. I was like,
Mhm.
essentially along the lines like, you should fire your marketer if he just goes into doing stuff for you without research. Like
Yeah.
the first thing that always comes is research, 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 research.
Yeah.
Um, so if we get one comment on this YouTube
Mhm.
video, like research or like I want the research, we'll make a guide. We'll put together a guide and
Yeah.
like the best, I guess like the best routine you
Hmm.
should go into, um, like for your business. Like if you're a
Hmm.
business owner, like what, give me a routine for where I can find out like
Hmm.
the best research to do or like what I should do to
Yeah.
learn more about my potential customers. So
Exactly.
if we get one comment on this YouTube video research,
We'll
we'll
put that
create that.
together.
We'll put
Yeah.
that together and you'll be the first to get it. So we'll put Diego's and I's newsletters in the description
Hmm.
as it is, so you can sign up for that. But we'll reply to your comment as well if you comment.
100%.
Anyways, okay, what else do we kind of want to tackle here? Like,
Okay.
um, I
I
think
do.
we're what was I gonna
I
say?
have something that kind
Yeah,
of
yeah.
just came to
Dive in.
mind. All right, so
Get my
here's
water
a
here too.
story. It's kind of a story time, but essentially this is about realizing for the business owner that not everything you post is like gonna guarantee a sale.
Hmm.
And it goes beyond your control. It really does. Like you want as much control as you want to have, let's say, an email or even a full sale. Like just
Totally.
sometimes there's your potential customer, they're just not ready for it. And so
Hmm.
here's kind of where my story starts is I was talking to my mom. She was telling me about her childhood. She was in Mexico and she
Hmm.
worked kind of like as a assistant in this bank. And at the time, kind of they were old school and they didn't have a lot
Hmm.
of the like documents that they needed in the system in the computer. So my
Hmm.
mom was having to take physical paper, documents, documentations of the residents there, and having to pass them over to the laptop, to the computer at the time. And it was just like super long days of just looking at these papers, going back to the computer, and her eyesight after maybe even just 3 months, it was like very noticeable. Like it was shitty.
Mm.
It was starting to get really bad, and then she eventually needed contacts. She eventually
Hmm.
needed to get surgery. And
Oh,
I was
wow.
asking her about the surgery because I was telling my mom, I was with the car with her. I'm like, Mom, I can't read the the license plate in the car in front of us. And it's like, can you? She's like, oh yeah. She goes ahead and says it what it is. I'm like,
The robotic
damn,
eyes.
dude, my eyes are, yeah, literally, she's got robotic eyes now.
Hmm.
Mine are cooked.
Mm.
And I started asking her about surgery, and I'm like, did it hurt? And actually, I should even say first that I've already been aware that maybe I should protect my eyes more. Like I do have all right, this is bad. I don't have my blue light blockers with me here,
No,
but
real quick, I'll cut in because I
uh-huh,
started having eye problems like 3 months ago. Like
uh-huh.
I remember going to Chloe one day and I was like, my eye like feels weird, and I
Yeah, I
went
remember you
in
told
and
me that. Yeah.
I got blue light glasses and like it
Hmm.
immediately fixed it.
Oh, that's cool.
Uh,
Nice.
but yeah,
Yeah.
continue.
Yeah. So, I mean, I have the blue light blockers. Those help me, I think.
Hmm.
But then I'm also online looking at like what else could I do? And I've seen
Mm.
there's like some screen kind of things that you put
Yeah.
on the screen, the laptop. I haven't pulled the trigger on it, but here's where I'm getting to. Like there are these other glasses I've seen as well that they're like yellow, the yellow
Hmm.
tint. Supposedly those are also, supposed to be good for going to sleep and like kind of your sleep cycle, but also
Mm.
your vision. And so I have wanted to buy those before, and I just haven't really had the that last kind of push to get them. And
Hmm.
even right now, I still don't have that last push. But I
Yeah.
got closer because of this conversation with my mom. I'm like, Mom, how was that the surgery?
Hmm.
And it was like, yeah, well, at first it was super painful, like the full maybe 2 or 3 days. It was just like it felt super irritating. And for me, that kind of was like cringing me out, like knowing that
Yeah.
something was gonna be in my eye, like irritating me if I ever needed surgery.
Totally.
And that's where I started getting like, okay, I really got to take care of my eyes. I got to look
Yeah.
into these glasses. And so now so I went from what I wanted to kind of describe here was how I went from a totally unaware market all the way
Hmm.
to like a solution aware, actually product
Hmm.
aware market all I'm waiting for is like maybe that big sale on those glasses. I don't know if it's
Hmm.
the right product that's actually going to help me, but
Yep.
it's what I've seen, what's already been kind of selling me the idea that this is going to be the best solution for my eyes. And so I just wanted to paint that picture because for everybody's offer, people are in that in all these
Same
different
boat.
stages. They're all in the same boat. They just, first of all, they might just not know anything about their problem. That means they're just
Hmm.
totally unaware. And then there's the problem aware. They know they have a problem with their vision, but they don't know why. And then
Hmm.
it's solution aware. It's like, okay, I have this problem with my eye because I've been not protecting my eyesight that well. Okay, now they go into the solution aware
Hmm.
and product aware. I know now that there's these glasses out there, and I just know that there's so many of them. I don't know which one's the best.
Hmm.
But now that I found that brand that I like, they're actually pretty pricey, but they look cool, and I'm just waiting for a sale. And now I'm, like I said, I'm at the very bottom. I'm just
Yep.
waiting for that right time. I've already got the desire for them because I don't want to
Hmm.
go through that surgery and that pain.
Totally.
So that was kind of like long-winded, but I think it's important for people to realize that not,
This, I was gonna say, well, you go first, and then I'll cut in.
no, I kind of wrapped that up.
I
That
was
was
gonna
my,
say this is the exact case for sending daily emails. Like
hmm
this is the exact case. You never know when people are ready to pull that trigger or when they're
hmm
in that like kind of buying frame. And
hmm
you just say somebody will say, well, oh, if they don't get an email from me that day, they'll just buy the next
hmm
day. You're just like,
hmm
no, when somebody wants something, they buy
hmm
it right away. So if
Yeah.
they're don't see something from you, they're going to buy from your competitor. And that goes back to the frequency. If you're
hmm
not sending enough, you're warming up your competitor essentially for
hmm
that prospective customer of yours. So,
Yeah.
because I know I'm that way specifically, like when a funny story here, actually, like I tend to get like a unibrow if I don't like do
hmm
my eyebrows every once in a while.
hmm
And like I'll let it slowly grow back and it'll just get to a certain point where I look at it and I'm like, okay, this is crazy. Like I gotta do this right now today. I gotta get the unibrow done. I gotta go to the place and I actually met someone here at my office who does like
Oh, that's cool.
natural organic
Mm,
waxing. So I go to her
nice.
and I'm like, hey, like I gotta book something for today. This is crazy.
Yeah.
It's getting out of hand. I look like a werewolf here.
For sure.
And so like that, and that's all that something that happens in the
hmm
span of like 3 hours. I stop
Yeah.
everything I'm doing and I go
Yeah.
and do it.
Yeah.
Like
You
I
never
know
know when that urgency for somebody's gonna be.
exactly,
So that's cool. Yeah.
exactly. And they call me every time too. They're smart because after 2 weeks, they'll call me back and they're like, hey, you want to book another appointment? And I'm
There
just
you
like, no,
go.
I'll play it by ear. Because
Yeah.
that's my thing. I play it by ear. I never
Yeah.
know where I'm gonna be or what I'm doing or when
Yeah.
the hairs are gonna grow back. But
Right.
I know like
But
when I
once you
see it,
notice it,
when
yeah.
I look in the mirror in the morning, because it's hard. I can't see it without my glasses, but when I put them on, I'm like, oh, dude,
I've been
this
walking
has
around like this.
this has got to go right now. And it's the
100%.
same way with a haircut too. Like it's
Yeah.
like eventually it gets to a certain point where
Yeah.
you're just like, all right, I've been putting up with this for the past 3 weeks, but you look
hmm
at it one day in the mirror and you're just like, I
Yeah.
gotta go right now.
Yeah,
I
and
gotta go
back to
right
the
now.
Reddit, back to tying it to research. Imagine you're the company, because I was going to say, I haven't seen anything from that specific company or honestly any other eyeglass or eye protection company that has
Hmm.
brought up such a unique story that tells the story of somebody going through surgery and then kind of dealing with that
Hmm.
post-surgery process and recovery and you know that's why it's so important for especially in emails and I think it's also something you can easily do on Instagram stories every day like just bring up very unique stories that your market may
Mm,
not be aware of but like it just ties into your product again like if I
totally.
would have seen an ad like about just kind of exactly what I laid out there, like a lady going to surgery and then having to deal with this all because they didn't protect their eyes in the first place. They're behind the laptop all day. That's literally me. If I would have said like,
Yeah,
it's just like those
dude, they
little
know their
angles,
market.
they know, if you're able to know your market to those unique levels,
The depths.
oh my
Yeah.
God, bro, you're gonna unlock,
It's totally
yeah.
it's the cheat code, dude. And one
hmm
thing I'm actually dealing with a client right now, and one thing I'm actually finding
hmm
really powerful in terms of effective copy
Hmm.
and integrating research into effective copy
Hmm.
is an FAQ section,
Mm.
answering common questions that people have about your
Hmm.
product, service, or offer. This is something I've done in the
Mm.
past, and we just want to like for this specific client, we want to bump up like we just want to like bulk up the landing page of the specific product we're selling right now,
Okay.
and just working to put together a
Hmm.
super detailed FAQ. Like, what
Mm.
does that exactly look like? What are the weirdest questions that you've gotten consistently that like people are wondering? Like,
Hmm.
okay, what is this about? Like, what is this about? So, for example, like this is for a live event. So,
Hmm.
like one of the questions that they'll get is consistently is like, okay, where am I sleeping? Like, where do I share a room with that person? Like, we want to answer and take away every single objection
Everything.
that that person has right
Hmm.
there and then on that FAQ and write
Hmm.
it in like a casual tone. Like, I
Right.
think if people like, even if it boils down to the money, like how much does this cost? And you have it on the screen, like putting it on there. This is what this is for. This
Hmm.
is why it costs so much. Like giving people everything they need to know about that specific product
Dude,
or offer.
I was just going over this exact kind of thing with somebody who sells a physical product online and they
Hmm.
actually manufacture it and they ship it themselves. So it's like a custom product that these people build, this company,
Hmm.
and their website is already really detailed with like how the process works.
Hmm.
But we're looking at those kind of questions that he's getting repeatedly, and we're looking at ways to incorporate that into that landing page, that one page where
Yep.
everybody, all the traffic comes through, because if one person's wondering it, well, actually, it's
Everyone,
many,
a lot of
a lot
people.
of people are
Yeah.
wondering it. We've been getting the same question
Yep.
repeatedly. Why wouldn't you put that on the website?
Hmm.
And so it's like looking at, I mean, over time, you're going to be getting these questions and just taking that feedback and always
Hmm.
putting it into, obviously, the best place there is like a landing page or a sales page. Um, but yeah, that's funny that you're kind of in the same boat too. I'm doing that work with a client as well.
Totally, dude.
Yeah.
I think another point there too with the actual newsletter aspect, like a lot of people look at having a newsletter as a selling point. Like, hey,
Hmm.
uh, how can I implement these things to make through sales for through my newsletter? Like, how can I make more sales through email? Do this, do that, do
Hmm.
that, do that. They don't look at necessarily, or maybe something that's hidden that they realize along the way is the
Hmm.
utility of just engaging with your customers frequently.
Hmm.
Like if you're
Yeah.
sending daily emails and you get 3 to 4 to 5 responses of every single email,
Hmm.
that's that's 35 emails back to you a week. You can know exactly what is
Hmm.
going on in your market, exactly what's going on with your customers, and
Yeah.
you can have ammo to replicate that on
Hmm.
things like Instagram, Twitter,
Mm.
Threads is big now, whatever it is, like
Yeah.
that is all great ammo for you to stay in tune and in touch with your customers.
Totally.
That's what an email list does. And if you're writing
Hmm.
the emails, asking the people for some type of response, like that's kind of where we would come in, just to
Right.
like help, ignite that. But
Hmm.
people look at it from the selling point of like, okay, I just want to make money through the newsletter, which
Through this
you
channel.
can,
Yeah.
but they just completely miss this actual utility of staying in touch with your customers and
Hmm.
seeing exactly what they're going through in that moment. It
Yeah.
is so easy. I can't even tell how many times I've like seen a response from one of my clients and immediately sent it to them, and then the
Yeah.
next day it's like a reel. It's a reel,
Yeah.
and it's like the script is right there. It's laying out. We know
Yeah.
exactly what this person's going through. If that
Hmm.
person's going through it, the odds are somebody else's, like you just said.
Yeah.
So,
You could make it like, if I were dealing with XYZ, here's exactly
mhm,
what I do. And then, there's your reel,
totally.
your Instagram
You
story.
can even another thing Ben Settle talks about a lot is
Hmm.
like just using the replies as banter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like one thing, maybe this is like a whole separate episode too,
Hmm.
but one thing I've been researching recently is like being polarizing
Hmm.
intentionally, like about your beliefs, your values, like
Hmm.
to attract the people that you want to serve, essentially, like
Hmm.
to attract the people that are resonating with your story and what
Yeah.
makes you unique. And obviously, with that comes another side of people who are going to think, oh, that's not the way you do this. This is the way you do this. So
Yeah.
not intentionally being polarizing, but putting
Hmm.
yourself out there more is going to naturally create that polarizing effect.
Hmm.
But Yeah, so that comes and goes on on the newsletter too, like when you're
Yeah.
sharing your thoughts and beliefs around
Hmm.
like I know in the fitness market, one thing I like to do with some clients is like trash 75 hard. Like we don't see that
Oh
as an
yeah.
effective model to get
Hmm.
to a
Lasting results.
sustainable long-term approach. So like
Hmm.
we'll put an email out on that and intentionally people will not intentionally, but that'll stir up a commotion. Like people
Oh
will be
yeah.
like, that's not no, like I've done 75 hard. Like it's
Yeah.
not that.
Yeah.
So it's good to have that
Hmm.
as well because that's going to make you align and pull you closer to the people who
Yeah.
do resonate with that idea.
Right.
So I
Yeah.
think this is a whole separate
That is
episode, but
really good that you brought that up though. Yeah.
yeah, so
I was
there's
gonna
just
say,
so many utilities in the newsletter in general.
yeah, the newsletter just replies what people are saying. I get this is another reason why it's so important to have somebody in your corner who's
Hmm.
in those areas, who's
Yeah.
actually looking at those kind of things because I mean, as a business owner, you're busy. The
Hmm.
last thing I mean, some people are really engaged on their Instagram and they're going,
Hmm.
replying, but it is time consuming. But it is something that, again, if you're able to tap into that
Hmm.
consistently, you're never gonna be misaligned in your messaging and kind of like what people are buying, what people are attracted to. You're always gonna be able to speak to the things that are on people's head, on people's mind.
Totally.
But something about the polarizing I had in my notes kind of it ties into what you're saying. It's about kind of like the whole Jake Paul, like he had the boxing match
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and
He's
even
super polarizing.
yeah, super polarizing. And he leans into that villain.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
think in this, what I wanted to bring up about this is he brings into he leans into that villain role because other
Hmm.
people want to see him want to see how that story plays out because
Hmm.
now he's talking all this crap. Here's this other guy who's like maybe more, humble about his approach and people like that
Hmm.
about this guy. And now they're like, oh, I just really want to see Jake get knocked the frick out. And so
Totally.
that is creating this intrigue. It's like, okay,
Hmm.
he's really good at this. He does this strategically because at the end of
Yeah.
it, he's a good sport. I mean, I think it seems like he's a good sport. He, dabs him up or whatever. And, the fight was what it was. Was it scripted? That's another story or thing to dive
Hmm.
into. But just getting eyeballs, Jake Paul does this really good.
Totally.
He leans into that villain role. And yeah, I mean, I'm definitely in on it. Sometimes I'm like, dang, this guy's like just being a total
Yeah.
dick sometimes. But
Yeah.
it's like, oh my God, I do want to see if this guy's gonna, what this is gonna result in.
Dude. Yeah, I think too, like there, I think back to, you know, our recent elections as well. Like
Hmm.
there's regardless of who you're voting for,
Hmm.
Trump is extremely polarizing.
100%.
And because he's extremely polarizing, he makes his competition easily as equally polarizing. Like it's
Hmm.
just they're they know they're two different people and they're going to tap into kind of going against each other and coming at each
Hmm.
other because they know that the people that are resonating with them, that's going to influence them to pull closer to them
Yeah.
as it is. So,
I also would
um,
say that this is another reason why, like with Jake, good example. Also,
mhm,
Trump is another good example. I mean, regardless of what you're pushing out there, what your actual like re intent behind it is, but if you're
mhm,
just not scared to genuinely just say
yeah,
whatever the heck's on your mind, like your honest, brutal take
mhm,
on 75 hard, or your honest take on
yeah,
Ozempic, your
yeah,
honest take on obese people, it doesn't really matter. But if you just
mhm,
if you put that out there, just be polarizing,
yeah,
and it's always gonna work in your
mhm,
favor. Yeah.
yeah. And I don't think this is like where you have to kind of be like I guess like careful
Yeah,
like
careful
with
too.
like there's not necessarily careful in like how you just careful in how extreme you take that. Like
Yeah.
it's kind of like a never ending,
Hmm.
like you can be polarizing all the way to the extreme. So
Yeah.
like, I guess necessarily stick to things like within your
Hmm.
market, but I don't
Right.
even know. I don't know like what the line in the sand is there and being too polarizing or
Yeah.
what or but
No,
um
I think it's just being uniquely or not uniquely, just knowing exactly what your goal is at the end of the day. It's like, do I want to
mhm,
attract a lot more people? If the answer is yes, okay, be a little bit more careful with that. If the
Mm,
answer is like, no, I kind of have these premium prices, I just want a very specific set of
specific person.
individuals
Yeah,
coming into my funnel, like I think it doesn't even matter what you say.
totally.
They're gonna actually rave more about, being behind you and kind of like, oh yeah, this guy rules. I love, that's exactly what
Hmm.
I was thinking too.
Yeah.
Like screw these other people. It could go to that extent if you're going that extreme.
Yeah.
And I think it's perfect for that kind of business. But if you're a little bit more broad, then yeah, be careful with what you're putting out there. Be
Yeah.
strategic about it.
Totally.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else you want to dive into?
No, dude, if we're kind of just riffing on what was top of mind, like I rarely put anything in the doc.
Yeah,
So it was just
totally.
all was coming off of just ideas you were talking about. And
Mhm.
yeah, I think we hit a lot of good things here.
What
Um,
so what did we kind of like a recap for the person that listened this far. Um like uh, main takeaways essentially is the 80/20 of effective marketing is research.
mhm,
Before the research comes, well, actually no. You want to be, well, I guess it depends on where you're at in your specific business.
mhm.
Like research is so important for marketing.
Yeah,
Another thing that's important is creating an offer that people are going to flock to naturally. I
no
actually didn't
brainer.
even touch on this, like creating that no-brainer offer.
Hmm.
But another thing I've been referencing to that I heard from Ben Settle that he heard from somebody else, whatever it was because the second he said it, I was like, that's so freaking true. I've never heard of something more true in my entire life.
Hmm.
Is this 100% where it's when it comes to selling through email.
Hmm.
Like I think as a business owner, it can be frustrating to know why you're not seeing specific th results through email.
Hmm.
But when it comes to selling through email, about 50% of what's going to move the needle specifically on email is going to
Hmm.
be your offer. And then the
Hmm.
30% is going to be how you build the list.
Right.
So if you're completely uncertain on how to do that, that's something, you can reach out to us for. But essentially
100%.
you want to be attracting your market. And again, that goes back to the 100 moldy pennies versus the four shiny quarters, which we talked about in the first episode.
Right.
You can go re-listen to that. So that's 30%. And then the 20% is going to be the actual creative.
Hmm.
So again, it's like research, 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 build a no-brainer offer.
Hmm.
Um, Consistency and
Proximity.
proximity is important.
Hmm.
Going out and making sure you're showing up. Like we had the examples of like how Diego's in this kind of this buying sequence, but he really doesn't know which product he's going to go with. So it all depends on what's happening in the next week and who shows up the most, essentially. And then
Hmm.
I told that story of the eyebrows, essentially, of like
Hmm.
whenever, if there's an eye shop, if there's an eyebrow trimming shop, and or if I need to get that done today and the shop's closed, I'm going to a different one.
Yeah.
Like I
Because you
decide on
need
that
it.
day.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
decide on that day that this
And
is the
not
day
and
that
everyone's
this
different.
needs
Not
to be
everyone's gonna
done.
have that attitude. Some
Yeah.
people might see it, it's like, oh, I'll come back another day, and then they forget about
Mhm.
it. So that's why
Yeah,
another again, daily just communication,
totally.
so key.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. Um, and yeah, we
What else did
we
we
chatted
talk
about
about? Chat,
AI,
ChatGPT. Yeah. AI.
ChatGPT, always in there.
That's
Um, yeah, I
yeah.
think that's uh I think that's a pretty good episode. Also, too, so if one person comments, what
Hmm.
did we say comment?
Research.
Yeah, research. We'll
Comment
create
the
a
word
research
research.
doc
Yep.
together and we'll put that out there. And then yeah, any questions, we'll hammer those off the next episode. So
Let's
cool.
go. Peace.
Peace.